Hello everyone. It's Lizzie with the thelizytshow, and we are live today. We're doing a live with another artist. We try to do this on our fan page on Instagram, and yes, it's incredible. We've been having some technical difficulties all over, and so I'm going to invite our guest. He is a singer-songwriter from New York. And I am very impressed how persistent this fellow is. And I am very at awe. I find that when people are looking for hello Ivan, when people are going at it and they're persistent, they're go-getters, they know what they want. I give them 100%. I give them all the kudos that they deserve. We've been having a lot of authors on the show on our regular podcast, audio only, and we've been doing some Instagram and some Facebook. Not sure why the Facebook like did not work. And so, for you guys that are watching right now, this was not in one our regular schedule. We've been having once a week, or maybe twice a week Instagram shows. But we all want to be on video, and people want to know people's faces, and they want to know what they're all about. So we're making exceptions to the rules, and we're doing the Lizzie T show on our Blog Talk Radio, on our podcast, and we're also here as well. So we're speaking today. We are going to invite in. His name is Evan Parker, and the band that he leads is called The Survivor. He is from New York. He is from Clayville, New York. And one of the, I have never been to Clayville. I've been to New York City, where we record once in a while. But now with COVID, unfortunately, we're not able to do so, to travel as much as we used to, because Canada is still on lockdown. Canada is still borders closed to the US, unfortunately. I can't wait because Florida is waiting for me right now. So without further ado, let's welcome and bring him in on Instagram. So share, please, the Survivor, share with Evan Parker, share with your network, with your social media, and let's bring him on and figure it out, find out, what he's doing, how is COVID, how he is doing with this hello Evan, and welcome.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
Awesome. So how is New York? Let's start from there. How is New York with COVID? How do you guys are handling?
Uh,
I hear that the United States is opening things a lot more than Canada now. We're still on partial phase two of opening things up. Restaurants just open, and we are looking into open the swimming pools and things like that. How has it been for you during COVID season?
Being a heart transplant recipient, my doctors don't want me outside. They don't want me in public. So even when things do start opening, I'm not, they said maybe even a year, I won't be able to go to a mall or anything like that because of the risk of,
Right,
everything. I think they're opening too early, I think,
right.
in my
Yes.
opinion. But
Uh, uh, yes, a lot of people are agree with you, and they're on that same agreement. And especially for your case, which you're a heart transplant receiver. My goodness. So wow, let's take it back for people that have never heard about you. How did you get into the music industry? What drawed you in?
um,
What triggered? And especially knowing that you had health issues.
Uh, my mom, I think it was from my mom, whenever we went for car rides, she said, I mean, I don't remember, I was so young, but she said she used to be into Green Day. And, when they came on the radio, she said I would. So I think she really got me into music. And my dad as well. He listened to more older, like Bon Jovi, which I guess I don't really consider him an influence, but my mom says whatever you listen to is technically an influence, even if you're not into them. You still heard them. They must influence you in some way.
Absolutely.
I feel like more of our influences are from Green Day. I mean, if you've listened to our music, it's definitely heavy Green Day influenced, and that we don't try to deny it. Like we're not like, oh, we don't copy from Green Day, but we're not going to deny that. I mean, you listen to our music, it's definitely Green Day oriented, you know, with the power
Hmm.
chords, and we're for this. But I've just always, you know, watching my heroes, Billy Joe Armstrong and Matt Sanders, which is the lead singer of Avenged Sevenfold, and like watching what they do, go on tour, and I just always wanted that was always my dream, just to be able to walk out at like the Reading Festival in Germany or something, and a crowd of, you know, millions, literally millions of people at that festival, and just like to control them, you know, like put your hands
Hmm.
up, and then you see a million people put, and it's just that's always been just I've never been afraid. I feel like
Yes,
the bigger the crowd, the better.
of course,
I
of
feel
course.
like, to me, I actually feel like smaller the crowd, it's scarier because it's more one on one and it's more personal.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I find that harder than hundreds of people or thousands, because when it's just like maybe five people, it's a lot more personal and you can make eye contact, and that kind of throws me off. It's like, oh crap. But when there's,
Now I have to really really look at the eyes
yeah, and
of my audience, and I want to be able to look at the end of the crowd.
yeah,
So with your health issue, Evan, with your health issue, how did you, because it must have been really difficult before, did you start getting more into the platform and more into performing after your heart transplant or
well,
before?
I had a heart transplant when I was 12 weeks old. So
Okay.
I was, you know, I wasn't getting into it. But when I really realized that I wanted, well, my mom said she first noticed, I mean, she knew I loved music, but she said whenever I would hear a song, even if I never heard it before on the radio, I would tap my foot and I could just right
Wow.
away, I was on time. And she's like, you know what, we're just going to buy you a drum kit. I mean, that might not be your biggest thing. You might like singing, you might, but you can do it. I mean, I could put on any random song and you get on beat right away. So I started with my little drum kit, and actually, I didn't know how to write songs. I mean, some people are just born and like I didn't know anything. Like, how do you write a song? I couldn't. I just it couldn't come to me. Actually, it sounds stupid, but I tried to Google how to write a song. You can't Google that stuff. You just got to figure it out on your own. And
So how difficult does it come, or how easy does it come to you? Because a lot of artists that I have interviewed, and I've been on this show for 4 years now. They
mm-hmm,
have to hire a singer writer for them to be able to sing their music. They have phenomenal voices. They
mm-hmm.
have the talent, but they don't have that creativity to write the song. How easy is it
Um,
for you?
People have given me like, why don't you have people write your songs for you? I'm like, no, that's not how we like to do it. We don't want people
Right.
writing for us. We want to write our, and people have suggested, you know, like, you know, buy some lyrics if you get stuck. And I don't want to say I'm against it because I know a lot of people do that. But for me
Yes.
personally, I'm against it for me. I don't, everything, I want to be 100%. Everything we do is by us. And we don't buy any loop tracks. We don't buy any demos. We don't do, it's all us. And I'm proud that in today's day and age that we do that. We don't do any computer. We record guitar. We record drums. We
Wow.
don't do any, the only, I don't know if I want to give this away, but on a new album, there is something that we need pre-recorded. But
Right.
actually, it's not. It's using the recording software. It's not pre-recorded. I still have to use a keyboard and play the notes. But that's really the only thing, because we don't. You know, I'm just gonna say it because you don't know what song it's gonna be on. It's synthesizer. Um,
Gotcha.
we don't have one, and so I found that I could use the program I use has a synthesizer. So that's really the only computer thing you're going to hear on the album is that synth. We don't do, you know, anything
So
pre-made.
how was the idea of because you've been doing this for a while by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess you met a group of, it's called the Survivors, by the way, everyone check it out and go on the line. So what was the idea? How was the idea came about?
Actually,
Making a group,
how it
and yeah,
happened,
tell us.
um, how it happened was I was writing songs. I mean, of course, when you first start, looking back on my first songs, I would never release those to the public ever. They're bad. But and I feel like a lot of songwriters always act like,
You're your worst critic, I
oh
guess,
yeah,
right?
well no, they're bad. The first, and everyone's like, oh, I'm such an amazing. Like, in the beginning, you were not amazing. Trust me. Every songwriter says I was always such. Not in the beginning. I'll say that. My first few batches of songs, I look at them and I want to be like, what the hell was I thinking? These are
Right.
horrible. And so actually, I didn't start making music for years because I was just by myself. Um, I had a drum kit, didn't know how to play guitar. No one wanted to join. So I posted it on Facebook. I did everything. No one got back to me. And then I had a little brother come along who was born.
Oh,
And as soon as he could, I started making him listening to Green Day. Even as a baby, I'd put Green Day on and all this stuff. And he grew up to be like a music virtuoso. He can play violin, guitar, drums, everything. So I got everything I need, right?
wow,
So him and
wow.
so I just sat down with him one day and said, "You're, we gotta do a band." And he's like, "Okay," and um, that's just kind of just
How this
started.
sort of whole started. So how long is the Survivors has been
I think
a band?
if I look back on when we started our YouTube channel, I think it says 2016. Um, I think that's the year it says. I think like September something 2016.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome.
we've been doing it for it feels like forever, and it's not. If you think about it, 2016, it feels like we've been doing this forever. I think, and I feel like it's because we released when we first started. We didn't want to do an album. We just wanted to do a single and a single and a single and just get as much stuff out as we could. And I feel
Yes,
like,
and a lot of musicians are starting to do that. I
uh
noticed
huh.
that yeah, musicians they create single after single for a whole year, and then after that year they come up with an
And
album. So you didn't want to do that.
no, I didn't want to wait. And I'm just like, you know what? We got some songs here. Let's record them, put them out, get ourselves out there. And it started getting, I guess, semi, like maybe five. Some of the songs still only have, after all these years, 2 views. And, YouTube's hard. Um,
Yes.
and I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole nother topic. But I'm just going to say there's an algorithm, and they push the more popular channels, they push up. The lesser channels get buried in the pot because it's all about money for YouTube. That's all it is.
Absolutely. Yes.
So if you're not a big name channel, they're not going to promote you. They don't care. They
Yes.
promote the big name channels. So, um, but so we just kind of we had, like I said, we had songs already recorded. I was just like, well, might as well just put these up on YouTube and see what happens. And just getting 5 views back then was, oh my god, we got 5 people listening to this song. And
You guys
then
were in hiatus. This is like that's awesome.
yeah,
So how does it feel? How does it feel for you, Evan, to be able to perform with with a big audience? And I noticed I love one of the photos that you have here. One
uh,
of my favorites. That you are very proud of your work. Do you feed into the audience? Do you feed into the public?
well,
Do
that
you
that
find that?
photo is actually me on stage with Green Day. Um, and
Wow.
that was a dream, since I was 3 years old to meet my hero, and I've met them 3 times now, and that's just amazing. But playing ourselves, not with Green Day, just Johnny and um, I don't really. It's hard to get energy from the audience when you do such tiny shows like we do. Maybe if 5 people show up or something. So I really don't really. And also the energy I like to use is as if I was playing a real show in an arena, run around, jump, and do up. But you can't do that in a coffee shop. So
Yes.
it's real. It actually, in a lot of the videos, if you watch our performances live, they're kind of awkward because I'm just standing in one spot, and you can tell I don't want to. And
Right.
but you can't act that way in the place, you know, in the places we play. You can't just jump around and be like, everybody get it, because they'll look at you and be like, what the hell is this guy doing? It's a coffee shop. We're not, you know, we just want to sit here and listen.
Right. Right.
And you can tell in some of the videos I've noticed that I really want to start to get the crowd going, but it's not in a setting where that's appropriate. So um, I've had to learn that not every place you play you can be like, everybody get up and blah, blah, and you just got to play and get what you get, I guess. You know, just play the show as best as you can, uh,
And try to do your best and show to the audience that this is your love.
uh-huh.
So when did you come to the realization that this is it? You wanted to become, the singer. You wanted to do this
I
as
mean,
as much as you can, because we let's be real for the audience here.
mhm.
And a lot of people are thinking, being a singer songwriter. And I've interviewed this week. It's been nothing but singers right now, and they always tell me, the common denominator is always the same. It's hard, challenging. You've got to put a lot of work. So when you realized that that's all it took, did it wanted you to say, maybe I'll have this as a side gig, or maybe I'll have this as a part of, maybe, I mean, for some people, it still
um,
is.
I mean, it's still a side gig. We're not making anything off of this. We have music on iTunes, but we still, our name getting out. It's not like we could live off of our iTunes, you know, thing. Um, would I love to be able to do this as a living, like Green Day, or yeah, that would be, yes, that's my dream. Ever since I was little, I've wanted to do music for a living. And I know
Right.
that's kind of a cliche saying, like ever since I was little, but it's the truth. Like just music. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. I got picked on, and music was always kind of my escape. Green Day was my
Mm.
escape. That's what I listened all the time. I just watched videos of them on YouTube, and before YouTube, you know, I had Green Day DVDs of them live. I was like, that's what I want. I want to be like Billy Joe, my hero. I want to go out in front of, you know, in Emirates Stadium and freaking play to a crowd of thousands of people, and just so yeah, I guess I don't want to say the cliche thing since I was born, because that's not really realistic, because you don't know what you want when you're born. You're a baby.
That's right.
but
That's
but
right.
since I can say since I was young, I've loved music. I mean, literally, like I said, maybe since I was 4 or 5, I'd listen to Green Day. So I'm 24 now, so I've literally been listening to them, you know, for
And you know what, Evan? You are very young. You have your whole life ahead of you. God willing that you are healthy enough to continue with your life the way it is, especially with your health condition. So
mhm.
for people that are watching us, and they will be, because I will record this on IGTV, where can people find you, Evan?
YouTube, iTunes, of course, here Instagram. We have a Facebook, but I don't keep that up to date as much as our Instagram. Same with Twitter. We have a lot more followers, I feel, on Instagram, so I kind of keep up more with it here. Um,
Right.
iTunes, like I said, you can find us. You have to put in the name. There's we're not the only band with this name, so which I should have done research before we made it official, but I didn't because I was lazy, and it just sounded good too. So we were like, all right, the
So
Survivors.
so let
And
let's so Evan, let's go there. What why did you pick that name? And a lot of
well,
musicians, they get inspired for something that is a little bit about, they had a dream,
mhm.
something came to them in a vision or something like
No,
that.
no,
What was
no.
the case?
It wasn't as crazy as that. Um, we would try and I feel like the hardest part of the band is the name. Besides finding members, that's probably the hardest. But thinking of a name, and I couldn't think of anything. So this name actually wasn't my idea, and I couldn't think. And I'm that kind of person where if it wasn't my idea, I'll say it. I'll be like, oh, it's not all, you know. And I was talking to my brother, and we were just sitting there. Like, we need a name if we're going to be serious. You know, we can't just start.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to start a YouTube channel and a Facebook and an Instagram, but we need to come up with something. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "What about the Survivors?" And I kind of thought about it. I'm like, he's like, "Well, think about it. You had a heart transplant, and you were supposed to die, and you survived. And when I was born, I had my uh, cord wrapped around my neck. He actually, yeah, he came out blue because he was
Wow.
choking on his own umbilical cord when he came out. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Sadly, we didn't research before we named it that, and now there's
Yes,
20 other YouTube channels we have to compete with called Survivor.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
So I'm watching for everyone. This is the YouTube.
that's
It's the
our official.
Survivors.
Yep,
That is your official. And guys, signed up to the Survivors. I will subscribe
awesome.
to the channel. Not to worry, and I will share. Some of the songs that you have here are pretty interesting. The World Fire, the end, our second full length. Can you tell us a little bit about your favorite and what
Uh,
inspired you to write it?
my favorite song, counting the album that's about to come out or ones that are already released.
The ones that we're seeing here
My
on your YouTube
favorite,
channel.
my favorite. All right, if I had to pick, Giving Up was crazy to record because, as you can see, that's a 5 minute long song. Giving Up.
Yes.
Um, that was interesting to record. But I guess off that album that you're showing me, Blood Moon, my favorite song would have to be. You're gonna think this is weird because you think, why isn't it one of the heavy punk songs? I think it's The End, the last song, the acoustic song, might be one of my favorites because the editing Johnny and I did on it, and it just came out, and the violin at the end, and that he played amazingly. That's one of my favorites that I've written. Um,
So you really go with the music and the violin and things like that that helps you to get a little bit more of it. And I guess it touches you. And if it touches you, you figure that your audience will also be able to touch. Guys, you are watching Evan Parker.
hello,
He is
everybody.
with the group Survivor. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you know Evan and you would like to ask him, something curious for people that are just tuning in right now, you are here with the Lizzie Show on Instagram. He is from New York. And one of the things that I love about Evan, that you are pretty persistent. I was saying before, we are booked solid. We have shows all the way until the end of July, but you kept I am me. Is that one of your is that one of your common denominator, or that you want what you want and you're not giving up? Is that
Um,
one of the
I can
things
I
that you?
I mean, there's been times during this where I'm like, we're never gonna get signed. I'm done, and so I'm
Mhm.
not. I guess I do have persistence, but it depends on what it is. I mean, there's been points during this where I just thought we're never gonna make it big. This is, let's just stop, and which I actually was just thinking about today. Sometimes it just pops into the back of your mind, kind of, and you're just like, you know what, we're never gonna, it's a 1 in a billion chance what happens to these big name bands, literally 1 in a billion, that get signed and
Mhm.
make it. And so there are times, I'll admit, that where I kind of like, you know what, all this work we put into it, we're only getting a few listeners. Let's just wrap it up and be done. Um, but
Suggestion for you, Evan, because you are so persistent and you I am me at least 10 times. How about put that persistent into your music, into what you
see,
do, and even if it doesn't work, which I think it will, because you have what it takes to go after what you want. You just keep doing it, even if it's like you said, it's a high hustle, it's a side hustle, it's a
mm-hmm.
side gig. You know, can you live without doing music? Can you live? Can you be you without
No,
music?
no,
There we go.
no.
You answer your own question.
That would
You're
be.
definitely.
I mean, I remember one time I lost my iPod, and I literally went through withdrawal, like if you were taking drugs. I literally went
Wow.
through it because I didn't have music, which I googled it, and that is possible. You can be addicted to really any. They say you can be addicted to anything, which is the truth because I googled it, and the symptoms, I was going through withdrawal without my music, without my earbuds, and it was the worst weeks of my life without my music, without being able to listen to anything.
There you
It
go.
was horrible.
There you go. There you go. So you answer your own question, and I think, if you keep that persistent that you had with me with what you do, it will take time. The
Oh yeah.
Lizzie show, the Lizzie show did not came about having 10,000 followers and things like that from day to another. I'm still working on it, and
Hmm.
many people that I interview every day, they talk about the same thing. It takes time, it takes effort,
Hmm.
it takes persistence, it takes focus. Talking about focus now, yeah, I saw one of your videos, and you were saying that you had time to create, you bring in some new stuff. Can you talk about that, what you're
Yeah.
working on now?
We are working on our second full length album. I
Wow.
actually, this is finally going to be. It might be longer than 12 tracks if I can. We were going to start recording actually, but my laptop broke, so that I was like, holy crap. So, so I'm trying to be positive and use it. Well, since I can't record, might as well use this time to write more or try to.
Okay.
So if this album becomes longer than 12 tracks, then that would be cool. But as of now, I have 12 songs written that I'm really proud of. Um, and I feel that this is I mean, Blood Moon was a little personal. The whole album was about my fear of dying, my phobia of death. Um, that's why I wanted to put the character in La Opera in a way. Hey Sabrina, what's up? So I wanted to put the character in a situation that he can't get away from. So like they're like,
Mhm.
well, why didn't you just make the character sick or I know there's a lot of rock operas where the main character has cancer or something that he could possibly get cured from. And when I was thinking about an idea for this album and my fear of dying, I said, what if I put the character in a situation that he can't get away from? So that's why I
Mhm.
said, well, the world ending, you can't really escape that. So
Mhm.
that's what the Blood Moon is actually just about, someone facing their fears that they can't really escape from. And
Mhm.
um, it's actually really dark if you really listen to the lyrics, because there's a point where he meets a girl named Jane. There's a song called Jane, and it's about a girl who is also messed up like he is, but
Wow.
she's the opposite. That's the whole point. Is he's afraid to die. The main kid, the I, when it says I, that's the main kid. But the girl he meets is suicidal. So
Wow.
it's two opposites, but they become
Mhm.
really close. And she's trying to be like, I'm waiting for the world to end. I'm ready to watch this thing burn. And my dream. He's kind of like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm trying to escape this, but
So
it,
I noticed that you use a lot of your emotions and a lot of your own life experiences and your fears to use music.
yeah,
Hey, Sabrina Fella,
yep.
she is
I
a
saw her.
singer-songwriter
Yeah, we're
right
friends.
from, yes, awesome. She is, I had her on the show last week. She is an amazing singer as
Yep.
well. And you guys, you should collaborate and talk because, you can help each other. Right now, this is the time that people need to help because we need the support that we can get. And I've been playing some of her songs. So, any particular song that you think that I should be playing on the Lizzie T Show radio?
Particular song, or is there a time limit for the radio station?
Is an hour, and usually the longest song that we have is about 3, 4 minutes.
Oh, this is hard. So, like I said, yesterday's I've really been pushing on because that's the leading track to the rock opera. Um, Anything off of Blood Moon, I like listening to. That took me a long time to write. So that our first full length album is that's like my baby, right there, Blood Moon. Um,
Gotcha.
Giving Up is a 5 minute long song, which I think is our most listened to video on YouTube. I think it has like 143 views or something. Giving Up, something close to that.
Wow.
With
Beautiful.
but yeah, I think even our new stuff, I still Giving Up has the most views on our channel. I don't know why,
That is awesome.
but but someone
You know
actually,
what? You give the audience what they want, and you enjoy every view from YouTube, as you said, is hard enough to get any viewers. So go for it.
Yeah.
Sabrina, if you have any question for Evan
Yeah.
or anybody,
Yeah.
just throw it our way. If you want to say, you already said hello. And any words of advice or wisdom, go ahead. So for people that are watching us or they will be watching this IGTV, any advice, something that you probably can say that has helped you, especially in this time or maybe other time, to continue your career, your dream?
Um, I feel like words, words of wisdom. I'm not really a wisdom person. Um, write what you feel, because I've had so many people say, like, man, these lyrics are really dark and they're not really disturbing, but like they're so depressing and dark, and who's gonna listen to this crap? And it's like there's
Mm-hmm.
people out there that feel just like the way, you know, that might connect with these lyrics. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and in the words of my hero, Billy Joe Armstrong, says, some people want to listen to bad, feeling music. If you're feeling bad, you're not going to want to go listen to happy music. You're going to want to listen to sad music. If you want it to feel, I feel like, in the words, like I'm giving all credit to Billy Joe Armstrong, but when you listen to music, I feel like you want to feel like someone knows what you're feeling. So if if you just got broken up with or someone died, you might listen to a song about someone dying, because then if
Mm-hmm.
you feel like, oh, the singer, if someone is connecting with what I'm feeling with. Um, what inspires me to write? Oh, now Sabrina's asking that. What, I don't know. I have a ton of inspirations. Whatever pops into my head, really. Um, I know a friend
Yeah.
where he I've never experienced this, but he had to tell his parents that he was coming out. And I kind of got into his shoes and wrote a song, which is actually going to be on this album,
Mm-hmm.
about, being the confusion of that, which,
Right.
being me, never being gone through that, because I've never been confused or anything. Not that I'm not against that at all. I've just never experienced it. I've always, so I kind of asked, just like, hey, I wrote this song about you. He read the lyrics. He's like, holy shit, that's how I felt. I'm like, can I put that on the album
Mm-hmm.
and release it to the public? He's like, go ahead. So,
Wow.
so
So you even get inspiration from other people's pain. That is beautiful. That
I,
is awesome. To be able to be such an empath like that, that is awesome. Hey, Omar, will you
oh,
just join?
how are you?
We're
Yeah,
speaking
I
right
saw him
now
come.
with Evan Parker. He is a singer-songwriter from New York. My goodness. And I have to tell everyone, this guy is persistent. DM me at least 10 times to be here with us, and I love that kind of persistent. I mean, this guy is going to go places, and we are starting to run out of
Yeah,
time. Evan, it's been such an honor, and
thank you.
I admire your persistence, your love for music. I think you should keep going, and it
We
takes.
are.
I know it takes a little bit. It takes work. I mean, Sabrina can testify.
Oh, I
Many
know.
musicians
Yeah,
can
it's
testify.
work.
Oh, how hard it is. It is even hard to do the Liz and T show,
Uh huh.
but I enjoy the process and I enjoy the people that come here to this stage, and it's the same thing for you. Keep going. So
Thank you.
once more, Evan, where can people find you?
YouTube, The Survivors, Instagram, The Survivors 2017. Yeah, that's if, to be warned, when you search The Survivors, there's going to be a lot. So look for that banner right there. That's us. Um, we do have a Twitter, but like I said, that's a hit or miss with the updates, because we have a lot more followers on Instagram than on Twitter. I think we literally have like 3 on Twitter. Uh, So I suggest go to our Instagram instead of our Twitter. That'll be a lot easier. I do update videos once in a while on YouTube. Um, not I use YouTube more just as release announcements, not really updates. If you want updates like throughout the recording, that's probably going to be Instagram. You might want to go there. I did want to say, this just popped into my head. We actually might make our a making of for this album. We might record, document it on video. So I think people might like seeing how we do that in a, not in a fancy studio, just doing it on our laptops at home. So we're gonna do a little documentary of making of the album. So that'll be
That will be pretty cool. It
really
just gives
interesting.
everybody the background, and it gives them, the story of how you guys are doing this and how hard it is. But you keep going. I want to thank you, Evan
Thank you.
Parker, for being here. The Survivor rocks. All the
Thank you.
best. Enjoy, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, guys. Bye bye. And that was Evan Parker, everyone. That was awesome. And I love it. I love it. We are rocking here on Instagram. We are doing a lot more shows here because this is the place to be. Video is the place to be. Our Instagram is the Liz T Show, but we're still doing the radio. We are still on the Liz T Show on the radio, and we are playing songs. We have singer songwriters, authors, coaches. This is the time for people to do things because we have the time. Remember when we used to say there is no time? Now we do. So join us, everyone, tomorrow with another show, another guest. And 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we are here with the Liz and T Show. Have an amazing day, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.